This week on Tune In Tuesday, we are with David Hovis. David does the public relations for Brad Keselowski in the Nationwide and the Cup Series. How is it working with a driver that does both the Nationwide and the Cup Series?
Well, it's definitely a lot busier. You need to stick to a strict schedule, which we may not always do the best job at. But usually most reps, if they only work in the Cup Series, get to take Saturdays off after practice or qualifying, where I stick around and work another race. So you can easily get burnt out if you don't take time for yourself. But Brad's won a lot of nationwide races over the last 3 years, won the championship in 2010. So when you have that kind of success and your threat to win every week, it makes it a lot easier to have to work in both series for sure.
Having Brad Keselowski in the chase, how does it change your job?
Having Brad in the chase really didn't change much of anything. It would have changed it more had he not made the chase. All the 12 chase drivers are the focus, obviously, of the media going forward in those final 10 races, because they're the only ones that can win the championship. So if anything, the only thing that probably changed is the demands, because you go from a field of 43 drivers that most of the media are focusing on to a group of now 12 that everybody's trying to get a piece of. So it's a balancing act, and you have to do a little bit of triage and figure out what you can and can't do, because you can't accommodate everyone, and that's probably the toughest part. Is there are several times that you have to say no to either a sponsor or a fairly big media outlet, and that's not something anybody ever likes to have to do.
What is a typical work week for you? How does it change after Brad wins a race?
Winning definitely makes it a little more hectic. Everybody wants a piece of the winner, which is understandable, but at the same time you've got to kind of forget about what happened the previous week. Good, bad, or indifferent, that's just how our sport is, and you have to get ready to go on to the next race, and not even just working towards the race coming up that particular next weekend, but even working a couple weeks out. You can find yourself getting caught in a big grind if you don't work at least 2 to 3 weeks out, and sometimes that's easier said than done, but that's typically what you shoot for. A Tuesday we come in and we'll download from the previous weekend and try to tie up all the loose ends, win or no win. And then Tuesday afternoon, it's all about getting ready for the next weekend. That's putting out your media advances, tying up any last minute odds and ends as far as media pitching for that weekend, the upcoming weekend, and then Wednesday working. That's when you typically try to start your 2 to 3 weeks out to see if there's any good fits for your driver, your crew chief, your sponsor in any of that race market or national media market content for that particular race.
What are your at-track responsibilities, and what is a typical race weekend schedule?
Once you get to the racetrack, it becomes all about hoping that you've built a tidy schedule and you stick to that schedule, because there's not really time based on the competition schedule also for any deviation, or rarely is there time for any deviation, especially with a driver that runs in 2 series. So a lot of it is competition. When you get to the racetrack, and when the cars are on the track, that gives you time to maybe wade through some emails, go to the media center and network with the NASCAR media and the local media to stay in their good graces for potential stories and features where the fits may line up with, like I said earlier, your driver, your crew chief, your sponsor, and their media outlet. But basically, when you get to the racetrack, it's about competition and keeping everybody back here at Penske Racing up to speed on what's going on, how our times are, where we rate in practice, where we rank in the practice order, how qualifying went, and then get ready to write a race report, hopefully a winning race report.
What are the biggest challenges and benefits to your job?
The schedule. It's a very long schedule. We go from basically Valentine's Day to Thanksgiving, very few weekends off that are provided by NASCAR in their schedule. Luckily that the folks here at Penske Racing will let you take a weekend off here or there to recharge your batteries, and that's critical, because you can easily get burned out, because it's a grind, and it's a pretty grueling a 10-month schedule that we keep. But the benefits are working for a company like Penske Racing that wins a lot of races and is supported by good sponsors like Miller Lite and Discount Tires, Joe Pennzoil, and all of our other great partners that allow us to do what we do. And that's everything flows from that. When you have good people and you have good sponsors and you have good success, then everything else can take care of itself.
And that was David Hovis, Public Relations for Brad Keselowski in the Nationwide and the Cup Series.